Hello, everybody. Welcome to 10 Minutes to the Truth. And today we have an incredible guest by the name of Dr. Chris Willems. Hello there, Chris.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine.
That's
And
good.
for those who are listening and watching to this and having the opportunity to hear this man in full cry, Dr. Chris helps owners, executives, and leaders, and I love this bit, get comfortable, confident, and credible on camera, on stage, and online. And that's as simple as this. C, C, C. And he's darn good at it. So with that in mind, Chris, I'd love to ask you a few questions. Is that okay with you so people can get to know and appreciate you even more?
Absolutely, Peter. Thank you very much for your kind words.
Okay, here we go. What's a truth you wish you knew earlier about business?
About business. Oh, well, my, I have a long background in the arts and performing arts and television and the business. I wish I'd knew more about business earlier than I've discovered it, because artists think differently, they see things differently, and they approach problems differently, I would argue. So those really basic business skills are something that artists aren't very good at traditionally, and so I wish I'd learned more about the business of business before I have. Having said that, I've been coaching in the corporate sector for the last 25 years, so I know a bit about it. But it's sometimes when people find out that I've been a mime artist and a performing artist and a designer. They can't make the connection, but there's a suspicion of artists. There's the arty wanker kind of label gets gets attached to one. But anyway, yeah, long-winded answer to a short question. I wish I'd known more about the business of business much earlier than I have.
So do we all. So do we all.
I've just wasted 10 minutes.
Tell me, Chris, what do people get wrong about what you do?
Well, it's a funny thing. I've been doing this for 25 years or so, and when I'm introduced to clients or introduce myself to clients, when they discover that I've been a mime artist for 25 years, and my response is always, and I can just about hear you all thinking, what the hell has mime got to do with corporate communication? But when you consider that mime at its most fundamental consists of the analysis, manipulation, and stylization of body language, and the body language forms so much a part of human communication and business communication, it's not that surprising. So when one explains that and people see the connection, they go, oh, okay, right. So the much less suspicious and much less sort of arty wankerish, and more willing to be open to discovering things about non-verbal communication in particular.
Okay. Well, that leads pretty easily into the next question. And that is, what advice do you give consistently, Chris? Consistently, but people still miss out, still miss the point.
Ah, it's that's a fascinating question, Peter. What advice do I give that people still keep missing? Ultimately, it's about authenticity. Ultimately, it's about being yourself, but it's a stylized version of yourself. That's the I have a trademark concept of the stylized version of you. I've never subscribed to the fake it till you make it philosophy. So for me, authenticity is a really important thing. But we all we do this intuitively. We have different versions of ourselves that are appropriate for any given professional, personal, private situation. So it's finding the right stylized version of you for any given professional interaction, whether that's on screen or on stage or online, indeed. So it's working out which stylized version of you need to be that's most appropriate for that particular professional context.
It's interesting, Chris, because really, as an arts media consultant that you are, and with many years of expertise and experience, I mean, authenticity is critical. I can hear what you say,
Mm.
but what you really, if I get you right, what you're really talking about is people's visibility. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Well, the traditional mix of communication is 55% is body language, 38% is how you sound, the tone of your voice, which leaves only a miserable 7% in terms of the words that you say. So if those three things aren't working together, if they're incongruent, then essentially no one's going to take a blind bit of notice of you or what you've got to say, because we pick up subconsciously, we pick up the body language, and if that doesn't match the words, then no one's going to believe what your message is. So it's and there's a level of self-awareness and consciousness about that, and making sure that those things are congruent. And often people try and be someone that they're not, and that hardly ever works, because you don't convince yourself, therefore you don't convince your audience, whoever that audience might be, stage, screen, or online. So it's really important to develop what I call active awareness. Being aware is one thing. Active awareness is being aware and doing something about it. So I like that the concept of active awareness and the consciousness that requires.
I like that too, active awareness. And really, I mean, the message you're giving to people is that you need to align your values with you. In other words, be authentic, because if you're not authentic, people will see straight through it, and your message not only will be missed, it won't even be believed, right?
Absolutely. And some people go, oh, well, yeah, but body language is kind of irrelevant because we're on screen or whatever. But I often say I refuse to believe that 100 years of technology have nullified a million years of human evolution. We're an animal species that reads body language, consciously or otherwise, mostly unconsciously. And so those things still apply, even on screen, they still apply. We're seeing, at the moment we're in what's called an MCU, medium close-up, both of us. So even there are aspects of our physicality that even if we can't see them, if they're out of frame, they still inform how we are perceived when within the frame. So
And
it's just and in fact, because we're in that frame and we're in essentially a close-up or a medium close-up, micro expressions become magnified and amplified, and so they take on a whole new meaning, really. So it's whatever context one is in it, whether it's on screen or on stage, those factors need to be taken into account. We need to be aware of those factors, and how to maximise the use of the stage and the screen. I mean, at the moment, we both have backgrounds that we use to fill up the frame, what's behind us and around us, and that on the screen, that background becomes really, really important, much more important than on stage. So, the kind of the visual vocabulary, I call it a visual vocabulary, is part of that active awareness as well.
I love that. I love that active awareness bit. Thank you for that. Thank you very much. That's a
Pleasure.
huge message for people. Wow. Okay, Chris, tell me this. What's one question you would love people to ask you? And then tell me what the answer would be.
Well, it depends on who's asking it and what the question is. One
In
question.
relation to visibility and their business, not in relation to personal life.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, again, it comes back to ultimately it comes back to authenticity and professionalism, and we're bombarded. We have a tsunami of information hitting us, visual and IT and AI and all that sort of stuff. We have this tsunami that's hitting us every minute of every day, and trying to maintain one's authenticity in that tsunami, and trying to rise above it and be noticed above that tsunami, because everyone's being bombarded. That's really, really tricky. And so we have to find through authenticity, we have to find our uniqueness. What's unique about you, about me, about everybody who's
Yeah.
trying to communicate with the rest of the world. It might be the whole rest of the world, or it might be a niche or a micro niche, whatever. So how do we cut through that tsunami of visual information with authenticity and uniqueness? And that's finding that for each of us, finding that uniqueness is a really, really important thing to aim for. And because there's so much blandness out there, uh, especially, this is going to create a bit of controversy, but AI comes with much blandness because it doesn't create anything. It's very useful as a tool, absolutely, but it doesn't create anything new. So creating something new is a really important part of being unique and being noticed above the tsunami of the stuff that we're bombarded with every day.
Wow, great advice and a great answer. Well done, Chris. Listen, our time is up. Thank you very much for your 10 minutes to the truth. One last quick thing. How can people find you?
I have a website called Arts Media Consultants, or I'm on LinkedIn under Dr. Christian Willems. That's Christian with 2 A's. That's my LinkedIn profile's there. And yeah, I'd love people to contact me and have a chat about whatever challenges they're finding in their communication, or just catch up and have a chin wag about a current issue or whatever. It's always delightful to connect with people and have genuine conversations, such as yourself.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for your 10 minutes. Take care, my man.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks very much.